Well, hi there. Thanks for checking out our channel. Just got done working on this unit. This is it's hard to say or see what it is, but this is a Gallagher, oops, Solar S50. Came into us for repairs. This one's been around a little while. Usually there's some orange and some stamping of what it is on the front here, but it's all wore off and just from getting beat up by the sun. They don't make this model anymore. They made this from about 2005 to about 2015, 16 at the latest. They came out eventually with the S40 and an S100. S100 is probably the one that did take the place of this unit. Eventually, it's a 1 joule. This is a half a joule. The neat thing about the newer Gallagher stuff is back when these were being sold, these were about a $350 unit, give or take 20 bucks. When they came out with an S100, they gave you the double amount of power for about the same price, for about $300, give or take 20 bucks, or whatever the new ones cost. So you get double the power on a new S100 for the same price you could have bought one of these back brand new. So that was pretty, good for Gallagher to do. And they came out with some new stuff. They give you more power for less money, or more power for the same money that you could have bought the one that they're replacing. But we do get these in from time to time. These are, pretty good unit. I mean, there's some issues that they had with them early on. They seem to have fixed those problems for the most part. But I'll kind of go over this unit real quick with you. We repaired this unit here not just a little bit ago. It has takes an internal battery, which the customer kept the battery with them. So all we have to go off of, or to use, is just a power supply leads, and we'll hook it up to a 12 volt supply to run the thing. I think I have about 13 volts running into it. But if you've got one of these Gallagher S50s, and they did make a smaller Gallagher S20, they look almost identical, so they're not quite as tall, and they got a smaller, more compact solar panel. As you see, this solar panel is pretty big, size-wise. It's like a 5 watt or something like that, physical wattage size-wise. But it's a glass solar panel, so if you do ship one of these in, you got to really protect this, the sides, the bottom, and the front really well. Because I've had these things coming to us for repair before, and they got sloshed around sideways, or something hit them from the side, or whatever. And I've got them in a few times where the solar panel's cracked and broken. So really pack up these things well. If you've, what usually goes wrong is up in here. The circuit board has problems sometimes, either from age or stress, or just fluke problems for whatever reason. So if you do just take this section up here off and then send that to us, that will save a bunch of money on shipping. So if your unit is flashing and clicking, or at least flashing like it's trying to work, a little green light that flashes up in that corner, if it does all that, then I would keep the rest of the unit with you, the battery, this whole unit, and just ship us either this black section up here with the circuit board in it, or when you pull this off and you want to send just the circuit board, you can send us just that, and we can go through it, repair the board, and get you going. It's a lot cheaper to repair one of these boards than to buy a new board or to buy another energizer. But if we fix something, you do get a 1.5 year warranty on the repairs. The only other benefit of buying a new one is when you buy a new Gallagher unit, if you buy an S100 or even an S40, S40 is pretty darn close to the same power, but S100 is double the power. But either way, you get a 3-year warranty with a new Gallagher. So there is a give and take. You save a bunch of money, get half the warranty, or spend more money, get double the warranty. Or what most people will do, they'll buy another unit, get their old one fixed, and then have that as a spare backup unit. Either keep the new one out there and have the used one as a backup, or what I would say, put the old one and back out there and have your brand new one sitting there waiting for rainy day if something happens to this. At least you're not stranded and don't have anything to put out there to keep your fence hot still. That's what most people would do. But we'll go through this thing real quick, show you a little bit about it. Let's see. Now, the neat thing about Gallagher, they use pretty good plastic on their equipment. They don't use cheap plastic. So, you know, some people like the old metal cased units, which metal, plastic really doesn't matter to me. As long as the electronics are good on the inside. So I don't care if it's a metal casing or a plastic casing. As long as the electronics are good, that's what matters. So you can have really crappy electronics instead of a metal cased unit and it's junk. Or you have really crappy electronics in a plastic case unit and it's junk. Or vice versa with good parts and, you know, metal versus plastic. So it doesn't really matter. But Gallagher does use really, really good plastic. So if you buy a Gallagher unit, you don't have to worry about it. You know, it might fade, you know, but they use black plastic on most of their stuff anyway. So black doesn't fade too much anyways. It does. It might fade to a lighter shade of black than the pitch black color that these things are. But you know, they're designed to be outside on their solar stuff. So if you put a solar unit outside, you shouldn't have to worry about, you know, water getting into it. Plastic fading, cracking, getting brittle from the sun beating on it. They do a pretty good job with their plastic. So another neat thing on these units is I'm trying to light off this bad glare. Is on the back of their S20 and their S50 have these black knobs like this one here, but they usually have an insert inside, like a red or a green insert. Like this one has fallen out, and then missing. He didn't send maybe in the box or something, but it was missing the knob for over here. But if your knobs fall off, your red or green caps fall off, the neat thing about Gallagher on their stuff is if you're like, well, which knob goes where, or if both caps are missing on both of the black knobs, you're like, okay, I don't know which one's my fence and ground because the caps are missing. If you look at the back of the case where the knobs are, they've got the symbol engraved into their casing. So you see a little lightning bolt there. So the right side on the back is your hot. And you look over here, if you can see it, there's a little ground symbol right there. So the left side on the back is your ground symbol. So you have to worry about a sticker, you know, fading on a unit like a some brands just use a sticker on it. And it says fence and ground or whatever, and those stickers will peel off or fall off or fade, or you can't read them. Like, either you have to memorize which one's hot and ground, or you've got to, you know, call somebody or find out what size hot and ground. But Gallagher luckily puts engraves their casing on some of their units with the fence symbol, for, you know, lightning bolt for the hot side, and the other side with the ground symbol. Alright, so we'll get into this thing. This thing has two functions to it on how it operates. It has a standard pulse and like a nighttime save pulse, where it pulses a little slower at night or if the sun goes down. Because typically, if your battery is fully charged, this unit pretty much runs off the solar panel. It doesn't run off the battery unless it's really cloudy or nighttime. Then the panel can't do anything or do enough. So panel shuts off basically, and then the battery kicks in to keep it going. And then when sun comes back out again, you know, as long as the battery's not real low or too low, battery kind of goes into standby. Panel recharges the battery and runs the unit. Now, if your battery is pretty low, the solar panel will have a hard time doing both. So as long as your battery's not under 12 volts, like 12.2, 12.3 or higher, then the panel should be, you know, able to, you know, charge up the unit. All right, and how that thing figures out if it's nighttime or daytime on how slow or fast it should pulse is right up inside this little lens area. There's two little things on the board right there. One is the light that flashes, and one is a sensor on it that picks up the amount of sunlight that comes into it. So how we're going to trick this thing, I'm going to cover it up. We got this needle gauge here, so for the electric fence tester, you'll see the thing pulse up and then fall down, pulse up and fall back down as it's recharging back up to pulse again. But this thing should probably put out 8,000 volts, give or take, you know, 500 volts or so. So you'll see how fast it pulses out and how often it clicks up. And then when I cover the light up, you'll see how much slower it gets. So I'm going to make sure it's turned off. I've got, I'm going to put 13.3 volts, so just over 13 volts. And most 12 volt batteries in these units even the S20s, if they're fully charged, they're usually about 13 volts, give or take 0.2, so it's pretty darn close to 13. So if your battery's reading like 11.9, it's not going to be enough to run it. These units are pretty picky on their voltage, on their battery coming in, battery voltage coming in. It needs to be at least 12.2, 12.3 to really run the unit or have a chance of running the unit correctly. If it's right around 12, like 12.1, 12, 11.9, 11.7, it just either will run real slow or it won't run at all. So you've got to make sure that battery is up to snuff. Alright, so we're going to turn this switch on. I'm going to turn the light on overhead. And see how fast it's pulsing. We're getting about 10,000 volts out of it based on this tester. So see how every time it clicks, that's when the needle bounces back up. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cover up, I'm going to block the light out on this lens here, and you'll see how slow it pulses. Right now it's pulsing like every, I don't know, second and a half, give or take. See how slow it's pulsing now? I'll remove my hand. Now it's back to pulsing fast again. So it's pretty slick that they can do that with this unit. You know, a lot of brands on their stuff, they will pull this meter off. On a lot of brands, they will just pulse normal all the time. So they don't have a daytime or nighttime save feature. So, you know, most people that have these things, on typical situation, not all farms are all the same on what they're trying to keep in or what they're trying to protect, but a lot of them will just pulse normal all the time. So if you got animals that are active during the day and not so much at night when they go to bed or whatever, this unit would be pretty good, you know, because it's not using all the power all the time, you know, not pulsing fast all the time. Now that can be good and bad. Sometimes people will be protecting, like I talked to a guy one time, he had a apple orchard or fruit tree orchard, and he had deer problem, and he had a unit like this or some, you know, a Gallagher unit of some sort. I don't remember which one it was. One of the units that had that night save feature on it. And he's like, man, it works great during the day, but man, those deer just get right on in at night. And I walked out there to see what was going on, and my unit was pulsing, but it was pulsing real slow. And then so next morning he went back out there and he went back to check the unit, and it was pulsing fast or normal again. And he's like, what's going on there? And so I explained to him the night save feature that the unit had. I think it was an S20, honestly, if I remember right. He said, you know, it works great, but I need it to pulse faster. I said, well, you know, I can manipulate and change up that board inside there a little bit and actually disable that night save feature, and where it will pulse fast, I guess, normal, day or night, it won't matter. So I said, can you wait a week or so, week and a half or so to get that unit here to let me do it and send it back to you? And he said, yeah, I got another unit I can put out there or something that will keep them at bay, I guess. And so he did that, and then the unit worked great. Nothing really wrong with the unit. Just he didn't like that night save feature, so he changed up that board inside here, this area here of the board, and sent it back to him. And and he called back now a few days later and said, oh yeah, it's working great. It's pulsing normal at night and everything. And what I was always worried about is would the battery hold up? And that's been 2 years ago, I think it was, somewhere in that range, a year and a half, 2 years ago that we did that. And he hadn't called back. I told him, just let me know if something happens with that unit and the battery won't stay charged up or something. I was like, well, maybe it pulses a little too quick at night. Maybe to pull more out of that battery than normal. And then the solar panel might have a hard time, keeping that battery charged up. And that's been a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I haven't heard back from them, so I'm going to assume that everything's working great. Now, on the new Gallagher stuff, like the S40, the S100s, and they got some newer big solar jobs that are like S200, S4, and these great big monster-sized solar units that have built-in batteries. You don't have to worry about a car battery. But anyways, on all those newer ones, they've got one switch that does three things on their units. They've got a battery check. You turn it to the left, I think it is, and a little light will light up green or red, telling you, hey, your battery's either charged up or not charged up enough. And then it has like a wildlife mode and livestock mode. The livestock mode means it's going to pulse fast during the day, slow at night. The wildlife mode means it's going to pulse. Now this is where I don't remember. It's either going to pulse fast, slow during the day and fast at night, or what I think it does. It pulses fast day and night. It won't matter. But all you can do is turn a switch on it. Not this one, but the S40, S100, and such. So they basically got rid of the having to manipulate the board and just do it by a switch, which is pretty slick. So you can buy one unit to do two different things depending on what your situation is out on your farm, and what you're trying to protect or not protect or keep in or keep out. So, but this is a good unit. I mean, when you get them working, they seem to run for a while. You just got to fix what's broken in them. We work on a lot of stuff. Gallagher, Power Power Wizard, Speed Right, Zariba, Power Wizard, Dare, whatever. I'm trying to Cyclops, Stay Fixed. I mean, there's a lot of brands floating out there, and we work on pretty much all of them. Old style from 60 years ago that aren't made anymore to units that are being built today still, and ones that are discontinued. So we rebuilt a lot of parts, rebuilt a lot of boards. We give free quotes on everything that comes into us for repair, and then we give you 18-month warranties on everything that we fix. Even if the thing's 20 years old or older or whatever, we'll give you an 18-month warranty on it. So, and we're not real strict in that time frame. If the thing's like 2 years old from when we repaired it, and if something went haywire on it, I'm sure we could work something out on there and help you out. We're not here to get one over on you. We're here to help you, and, repair stuff for you, keep your old units going as best we can, and for as long as we can. So, until we do another video, check out some of our other videos on our YouTube channel. There's a lot of them out there. You can visit our website, which is fencerfixer.com, and there will be something down in the description box you can either click on or copy and paste into your browser search deal. But Fencer and Fixer spelled an F as in Frank. But until we do another video of how to fix something or how one works or some of the functions of a unit, we'll see you later.